What's up, folks, and welcome back to Dyce Reacts, where we are staying in Australia tonight. Oh yeah, we are going to be checking out 8 more differences between Australia and Canada. I did a part 1 to this, so I'm doing the other part. Very much so, check this one out. We ain't going to waste no more time. Just going to get right into it, folks. We're going to get right into it. Oh yeah.
I got 8 more differences between Canada and Australia for you. These are fun ones, quirky ones, small, big, just more differences, things that you wouldn't expect to be different, or maybe you do expect them to be different.
All right.
So I'm gonna rattle off 8 ones that I think are pretty cool. So let's get into it. All right, number 1. So the first thing that I got is at the gas stations here, or I guess that's also the first thing. In Australia, it's petrol. Here, or what I say would be gas station, but at the petrol/gas station, you are not allowed to be on your phone when you're fueling up at the pump. So I've learned that a few times. You know, old habits die hard. So there's been a few times where I'm trying to refuel my car, and then I whip my phone out, and all of a sudden I just get cut off. And I know it's not full, and then I look inside to the gas station, and I got a lady or a man pointing at me and giving me like the finger wag of shame. Just yeah, you're not allowed to do it. In Canada you can. All right, number 2, we got the lack of mega stores here. So they just don't have that Walmart, that superstore. So if you go to the grocery store, that's where you're getting your groceries. Then you go to get your beer, then you go to like a tobacconist, and then you go to like a chemist or a hardware store. There just isn't that all in one. So no mega stores here. Number 3,
Did not know that.
We got the difference in eggs, which I never thought could be possible. I thought just eggs were eggs, that they had a yellow yolk. But apparently the ones here, the ones here have an orange yolk, which is very different and interesting. Just one of those things that I thought was a yolk had to be yellow, but it doesn't. So that's different. Number 4, we got the lack of water in the toilet bowls here, is what I'll say. Different levels of water in the toilet bowls between Canada and here. Here, it seems like, to me, it looks like how our toilets look when they're like not working properly. Yeah. Because there's just a lot less water.
I can imagine.
But so far, there's been no issues. It seems to do just as fine with the lack of water. So definitely makes me question why we use so much in Canada. But
true that.
There is a lot more in toilet bowls that I'm used to back home.
I'm not in Canada.
There's just a lot less here.
It's here in my country as well.
That's number 4. Number 5 is probably the smallest of the bunch, but also the biggest, I feel like, because so basically if I was to talk about my parents, I would say my parents or my mom and dad are coming, or my mom and dad are going to be here, versus I find a lot of Australians, or most that I've met, they'll say mom and dad. So if they're speaking to me, they'll still say mom and dad. So sometimes, like when my roommate will say she'll say mom and dad are coming over, my brain, for a few seconds, my brain like actually thinks it's my parents, like Ken and Sue from Canada, that they're gonna come, because the only times I've ever heard mom and dad are coming over, or mom and dad will be here, is from my brother and sister. So I find it very interesting because it's one of those things that's just ingrained in my brain. And when I hear mom and dad, it's always been my parents, versus now it's not. It's just different. And I know it's only like 2 letters, but it has quite a big impact, I think, on just the way I perceive it. So mom and dad, my mom and dad, it's different. Number 6, we got kind of a grouped one. So this is going to be all in the restaurant. And it's basically that here you can order a standalone burger, or a lot of menus will have standalone burgers or mains. Whereas in Canada, you would never go to a sit-down restaurant and just order a main. Like everything comes with a side. The sides are standard. You don't just order a main. There's not a main price plus sides. Of course, you can add extra sides, but every burger will have fries. Versus here, I find it's a lot more common to just have the main. And on top of that, in terms of sides, so when you get chips here or fries or sweet potato fries here, you don't always get I find hardly ever do you get ketchup or tomato paste or chipotle mayo or mustard, something to dip the chips in. Versus in Canada, there has to be some sort of dip or sauce on the plate or on the table if you're getting fries or whatever you're getting. So I find that very different because, well, it is very different. It's just not accustomed to always have sauce with it or dipping sauce with your chips and fries. Versus Canada, you're just getting heaps of it. Because I've worked in restaurants back in the day in Canada, and yeah, there had to be ketchup somewhere on the plate or table at all times.
That's like a norm.
All right, next
Usually.
I got the public transport here. It's quite good compared to Canada. It's reliable, it's clean, it's cheap. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm sure it has its quirks, its drawbacks, but compared to Canada, it's nice having a good, clean, reliable public transport. The trains are good, the buses are good, syncs up well with Google Maps. When I went to Blue Mountains, so I went to Blue Mountains from Sydney. I don't remember the exact cost, but I remember thinking, wow, this is really cheap for how far it is.
Oh, it's really shallow. Wait, cool.
From what I've seen, from what I've used it in 3 cities here in Australia now. I've had no issues. It gets the job done and it's pretty good. So that's quite different as well. All right, lastly, we got the McFlurries.
McFlurries.
So the McFlurries here are very different. Same ingredients, but for some reason, they don't swirl the chocolate into the ice cream. The first time I went and checked it out, I was pretty shocked at how it was served because it just looked like it was incomplete. They just put the ice cream in the bowl and then whack the M&Ms on top. Versus back home in Canada, it's like this perfectly swirled ice cream chocolate blend. And McFlurries are like my favorite dessert, one of them. So I looked at the guy, I remember looking at the guy, I laughed out loud, and I just thought he was fucking with me. I really did. I thought it was a joke. But no, the McFlurries here are just the M&Ms plopped on top. And to end with a few words, because I'd like to end with a few words as well. Here, McDonald's is universally called Macca's. In Canada, we don't have a universally accepted slang way to call McDonald's. I would say something like maybe McD's or Don's, or yeah, those are probably my go-tos, but we don't have one that's like accepted. And then a couple other words too. So in Canada, we call it a pepper, but here it is a capsicum.
Yes,
we also got, if you heard it earlier, tomato paste.
When I first heard the word, I had to stop and go research it because never heard that word.
It is a capsicum. We also got, if you heard it earlier, tomato paste. Here, we call it ketchup back home.
Yeah.
And then footpaths. So I call it a sidewalk. I would call these sidewalks. Maybe walking paths, but I'd usually say sidewalks. Here they're referred to as footpaths. So even the sidewalks, I get those ones. These ones are more footpathy, so maybe I'd call them footpaths, but even like regular sidewalks, I've heard people call them footpaths as well. So yeah, some different words for you. And let me know too if you know any other differences, because I'm always curious. And if you agree, if you think these are different or not really.
Yes, this was an okay list. Not major differences in terms of the terms or what you may call it, but they were different nonetheless. Most of the terms, most of the things he was talking about, I've heard them. Man, the capsicum thing, just a reminder. When I first heard that, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I don't think I'm ever gonna be using that because it's such a tough word to remember. Not per se to say, but to remember. Capsicum sounds like something you would take, medication you would take, some pills that you'd have to take, and prescribed as well. A capsicum sounds like a medication. Tell me otherwise. Tell me this doesn't sound like something you have to take, and not just take, but you're gonna have to get prescribed, and you might have to take it for the rest of your life. Those kind of medications I'm talking about. So I don't think I'm gonna be saying this word ever Sorry about that, guys, but I'm not gonna use this term at all, at all, at all. The strangest thing that he said about the egg yolk color, yellow versus orange. I mean, I see both in my country. Maybe he just gets the wrong batch of eggs. I don't know where he's buying his eggs from. I don't know, but it's something that varies in different eggs. You know, sometimes the chicken does a better job at times than not, and maybe that's why it has a slightly different color. So maybe he just keep on getting the orange batches of eggs. I don't know, because I've seen both colors of those yolks. So that's kind of weird to me. It varies based on what egg you get. I mean, like sometimes it's a little yellow, sometimes it's more to the orange side. So I wouldn't say this is something that's strictly Australian. It's just, man, sometimes the chickens just have a hard time laying eggs, man, and maybe that's the result of why it's that color. I don't know. It could be the time period that the chickens are laying. I don't know, but it's something, it's normal. I don't know why he's so shocked about it. You guys let me know. I think he's wrong on that one. I don't think it's an Australian thing. If you want to see that long shot after that I do, hit me on Dyce Reacts behind the music reactions. This is where I'm going to be making my exit. Until next time, peace out.